Alright, episode 2, let's go. I'm warmed up after episode 1, a little more loose. Hopefully this one will be less rigid, less monotone. We're gonna put some emotion into this one, how about that? Okay, so, the only way to start is to begin, and we begin with our character returning to Ul'dah after having killed the giants of the Copperbell Mines. On your way back, you come across an innocent woman being accosted by an obnoxious merchant and his group of rowdy ne'er-do-wells. Naturally, you swoop in to the rescue. Afterwards, your Echo, an ability that seems to let you see into past events, activates again, the first time having been with Y'shtola, giving you a glimpse into her purpose in Lenosha. Speaking of Y'shtola, she's here in Ul'dah and witnesses you having your episode. Seeing potential in you and your gift, she invites you to join the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. You eventually take her up on her offer and meet their leader, Minfilia, at the Waking Sands. You're introduced to the rest of the Scions and come to learn of their goal of ushering in the 7th Astral Era. Just real quick history lesson here. On the planet Hydaelyn, history is typically marked by umbral and astral eras. Bahamut breaking out of Dalamud and bringing forth untold devastation, that ushered in the 7th Umbral Era. After a calamity of that magnitude, there's still this downtime in which things around the world generally suck. So, that's still the Umbral Era, and it's the Scion's goal to solve Eorzea's biggest problems to make Eorzea great again, so that all may usher in the 7th Astral Era, an era of prosperity and peace. Okay, back to the Scions. Your first order of business as a Scion is to investigate why shipments of crystals are being hijacked and people are going missing. Minfilia strongly suspects the Amal-Jah, a race of hulking lizard people, to be behind these actions in an effort to summon their god, Ifrit. During your investigation, you come to find that Ungust, the obnoxious merchant from earlier, is kidnapping people and handing them to the Amal-Jah to sacrifice to their god. Wait a minute. This sounds really familiar. Oh well, it's probably nothing. You convince Ungust to help set up an ambush with the help of some of Ul'dah's military, the Immortal Flames, but Ungust triple crosses you and everyone is captured. You awaken and immediately come face to face with the primal Ifrit. It is then that you witness the terrifying power that primals possess as Ifrit proceeds to temper the souls of all in the vicinity. This tempering process seemingly robs people of their free will and fills them with this unyielding desire to serve the primal in question. Luckily for us, it seems our gift of the Echo shields us from this process, and we're able to fight Ifrit on even terms and knock him out. Okay, well that's several hours of work so far. What with scrubbing through the raw footage, cutting it together, learning the editing software itself, creating the assets, learning how to make them animate and do what I want. I mean, surely, that's gotta be at least 10 minutes worth of content, right? What are we at? A little over 3.5 minutes? Are you kidding me? Oh man, just doing the circle thing for the Umbral and Astral eras, that took me like 2 to 3 hours to learn how to do. You know what, we're reusing that. That's how we're switching scenes from now on. You hear me, future me? Reuse that, we're doing it Batman style. Okay, well, that's enough stalling for time. Let's get back into it, I guess. So it turns out that the Garleans have an interest in the primals, as we see Nero taking some readings from our fight with Ifrit. What's to come of these readings? Well, we don't really know yet, so look forward to more Nero in the future, huh? Meanwhile, as we've prey returned to the Waking Sands, we learn that primals suck up the ether in their surrounding area, which, if left unchecked, is very bad for the environment. And while we're on the subject of why primals are bad, Thancred lets us know that everyone that was tempered is to be executed, as the tempering process is permanent and the victim's fervent worship of the primal is a danger. So while you may have won the battle with the Freed, everyone that was with you is sentenced to death. Yeah, just a real downer all around. However, there's no time to mourn, as the 3 city-states are now fighting for your attention. After attending each remembrance ceremony in each city-state, you correctly choose to join the Maelstrom, as there is only one city-state that's led by Admiral Merlwydd. It's worth mentioning that during your tour of the ceremonies, you're accompanied by the twins and get to learn a little bit more about Alphinaud. You see, Alphinaud, like most other 16-year-olds, has the whole world figured out and knows better than everyone else, especially the people in positions of power. Seriously, I'd forgotten how much of a condescending jerk Alphinaud is. For all the flack that the 2.0 voice actors get, I think Sam Riegel did a great job in giving this character that air of smug superiority that you just want to punch in the face. Look, even Alice, his own twin sister, can't stand being around him. Look at her go. She's leaving him. See you later, Alphinaud. Can't stand you, jerk. Alright, it's time for the end of the video, where I go unscripted and just give my thoughts and ramble about stuff, so let's jump into it. Last time I said that the main scenario felt focused for the most part, and to my surprise it still does. It still does give you the random side quests, but they're all sort of in service of the story, or at the very least they're tangentially related. For example, in Drybone, when you're investigating the kidnappings, you suspect a nun. So here's this quest where you have to go ask the children she's always hanging around with. Like, that's still in service of the main scenario quest. It's still in service of that investigation into the kidnappings. There is one exception though, and it's really weird. It really sticks out. And it's right before the fight with Ifrit, when you're setting up the ambush with Ungust and the Immortal Flames. Right before the fight with Ifrit, Minfilia, she prays you return to the Waking Sand, so that she can send you to Mutamix, the goblin, and you'll learn all about materia extraction and melding, and it has nothing to do with what you're doing. It has nothing to do with the kidnappings, the hijackings, with Yamal Jah, with Ifrit, nothing at all. It's just, here's this system in this game that we need to introduce. We can't cut it out, so here you go. It really feels like old 2.0 kind of rearing its ugly head and just peeking out to say hi and remind you of how weird and unfocused it used to be. So it was kind of nice to get that reminder of where we came from to where we are now, because even doing the dumb little side things, like I said, they're still in service of what's going on in the narrative, so it doesn't feel that bad. Like, oh, you're gonna go ask around the church? Here, take this corpse and bury it. It deserves a proper burial on church grounds, I guess. So, yeah, it's okay. What else do we want to talk about? How about the quality of this video? I hope the quality's gotten better. I'm learning a lot about video editing, and I'm trying to put it into practice. Every little bit I do is a little more I learn, and hopefully the quality of the video is a little better, and maybe a little bit more entertaining. I hope. So, yeah. I talked about the revamp, how it still feels pretty focused. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have much more to say. Oh! Speaking of Minfilia and Prey returning to the Waking Sands, the Vesper Bay tickets. Oh my goodness, what a godsend. These things are great. I love them. Granted, it's not a solution. Absolutely not. It's a band-aid to a problem, but it is more than we had before. With how much Minfilia prays that you return to the Waking Sands. It's so nice to have these. And keep in mind, I'm trying to look at this from from the view of a new player. Like, you can sit there and say, oh, well, you can take the boat from Limsa Lominsa, and it's much quicker. Like, do you think a new player is gonna jump in and know that? Like, no, they're gonna teleport to Horizon. They're not even gonna take the porter, most likely. They're gonna run all the way from Horizon to the Waking Sands, over and over and over again. It was at least 5 times, and this was before you even fight a Freet, so you don't even have a mount at this point. And it is awful. But these Vesper Bay tickets that put you right there, oh, they're so good. Yeah. And if you watched all the way to the end, again, thank you so much. I hope the video was at least somewhat entertaining. And if you liked the video, then great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. See you on the next one, I guess. Oh, I'm a sleepy panda. Oh, so sleepy. Oh, can't believe you used repose. No one puts that on their hotbar.